licensing board investigators subpoena hundreds of documents from the city of Harahan as part of a probe into more than $2 million worth of public works projects.
Chief investigative reporter Stephen Stock digs into whether Harahan and construction companies followed state law.
8 different subpoenas issued to the city of Harahan, all requesting hundreds of documents, including contracts, permits, and plans for public works projects. The subpoenas come from Louisiana's State Board of Licensing for Contractors. The projects include work done at City Hall, Memorial Park, the Emergency Operations Center, and other public facilities. The state board tells Fox 8 it wants to know whether the city or any of the companies that did the work violated state law by either hiring unlicensed companies, pulling work permits improperly, or failing to follow the proper bid process.
We are looking into all the issues that have been raised.
Sean Beavers, the Deputy Executive Director for Enforcement at the State Licensing Board, says if his investigators find any violations, the board can take action against either the city of Harahan or any of the companies that violated state contracting law, or both.
They can be fined, suspended, revoked. There are civil penalties that can be imposed. There is also the possibility of criminal charges should the local jurisdictions find that there's something more warranted than that.
Beavers says one question his investigators have was proper bid law followed when contracts were awarded. Beavers says normally a municipality puts out a request for proposals for any public project and sets a deadline for companies to submit their bids. Under Louisiana law, the lowest bid gets the contract. State law also dictates any public works project worth $250,000 or more must be advertised for a formal bid process. The law also forbids breaking up projects into smaller pieces to avoid state requirements. In Harahan's case, records show the city spent nearly $1 million on its Memorial Park, splitting the work into at least 11 phases. All of those phases were invoiced under $250,000. When we asked Harahan for formal bid documents for several projects, including Memorial Park, the city's clerk told us a formal bid process wasn't followed. Quote, "We technically do not have requests for proposals with bid rankings, but we do have 3 quotes for a majority of projects and phases."
As a public agency at the state, local, or parish level, you're supposed to have certain number of bids per se, or quotes, if you will.
That's Brad Hassert, Executive Director for the State Licensing Board for Contractors and Sean Beavers' boss. Hassert says it's good policy for all public projects to go through a competitive process, even projects under the $250,000 threshold.
It's very easy to do it the right way.
Fox 8 political analyst and attorney Mike Sherman specializes in public bid law.
Louisiana law favors a competitive process, and we don't have evidence of a fair and competitive process here.
We obtained invoices for completed public works in Harahan, as well as informal quotes from competing companies. The documents raise questions about the timing of the invoices and the quotes because they came in around the same time. Take this example, a Toth construction invoice for nearly $18,000 sent to the city September 17th, 2024. But look at the competing quotes. One submitted its quote just 2 days earlier on September 15th, and a bid from another company came in on the exact same day Toth submitted its work invoice, September 17th. Then there's this Toth invoice for work on the Memorial Park water wall. Take a look at the dates. Toth submitted its invoice for completed work on the same day. 2 other companies submitted quotes to try to get that job.
I do not understand how bids can be submitted on the same day as invoices. That defies time and logic.
These 2 examples are under the $250,000 threshold that the law requires for a formal bid process. But remember, the state board says it's good policy for all public projects to go through a competitive process. For the projects we examined, Harahan documents show the same 2 companies submitted bids each time and lost. Harahan Mayor Tim Baudier oversaw all these projects. We called and texted him, asking how invoices could be submitted so close to or on the same day as competing quotes. In a text, Mayor Baudier didn't directly answer that question, but wrote, quote, "The fact that some dates are close together on paper does not mean the work was bid or completed as a single project."
Harahan clearly has a problem with its public bid contracting compliance. It's time for them to take action. That's what I haven't seen, what remedial action they've taken.
We left several phone messages at Toth Construction asking for explanations about these invoices and bids coming in just days apart or on the same day, but we never heard back. We also reached out to the two other companies that submitted quotes for work but didn't get it. One told us they did not submit any formal quotes to Harahan, and the other did not return our calls for comment. The State Board of Licensing for Contractors has already set hearing dates for Toth Construction, asking company officials to appear to answer questions. Stephen Stock, Fox 8, Local First.